Hello and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a bit different to my other ones because my other ones have been guides so far. This one, however, is going to be sort of an analysis of my gameplay, explaining all of my decision making, some misplays that I made because there were some misplays or mechanical mistakes, and just sort of generally explain, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and these types of things. So this was a ranked conquest game. As you can see the bands up here. I was the first pick on my team, but the enemy had first pick. I'll just pause it. Unfortunately, the SMITE spectator UI is not the best. I can't exactly toggle the controls to pause and skip and things like that. We'll just have to watch sort of the whole thing. So here, oops, this was my first game on, so I was just, sort of warming up a bit in base, getting used to like WAS and D, those types of things, just so I get used to sort of moving my fingers fast. It's something that I do occasionally. Before this game I did go into a jungle practice and warm up on Ula. I actually saw Zeros do that on stream one time. It seems to be what he does every time he like first loads up SMITE for the day. So I think I'm going to start doing that a bit more. Because Ula's sort of like a very mechanically intense god, you can practice a lot of things on him. Here I'm just sort of waiting, just basic attacking. Now usually on Mercury I start my basic attack chain like between 17 seconds and 18 seconds, so I get the third hit on the camp and then I cancel the rest of the animation with my one. However, in this game I forgot to do it. I occasionally forget to do things like that. It's only a very small thing, but it doesn't matter. Well, sorry, not saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter too much, but it's just a little thing. Oh, in here, I fuck up getting this speed buff twice. You can tell it was my first game on the right. Not too important though, because Mercury has very fast clear early game. Also might have been able to clear that camp a bit quicker. Still need to test sort of the new like season starts to try and see like what is sort of best, and getting like my basic attack chains down correctly. Some Wukong shared the blue XP with me. You want to try and do that? You can see me and this Naja have almost identical sort of time. I did path a tiny bit better, so I think I get to lane just before him. It's about the same time still. So obviously they still did their red buff, I saw that, so I went to get my red buff. This actually puts the Naja behind, and this is something to note that, so mid laners, you're sort of watching this, if you don't share the red XP, but the enemy do share the red XP, and that puts the enemy jungler ahead. Yes, you will get slightly further ahead in mid, but it's all about that balance, what do you want to do? Do you want sort of, both of you to get like a boost in sort of XP and gold, or do you want it all to go to the mid laner? It all depends on team comps, things like that, how you sort of playing the game in your play style. Some junglers I know would like prefer their mid laner to take all the red XP and they're focused on putting their mid ahead. As you can see, we are splitting the camp sort of, so I was like, okay, so this is going to be sort of this mid lane is very sort of they know the routes. I can be confident in trusting them, following them, things like that, and staying with them to help them out in certain situations. Obviously we're going to secure these here, oracles. Our dual lane got first blood, which was very, very nice. Always nice when you dual lane like sort of ahead, because then you don't have to worry about that lane. And it can be it's sort of it's a very weird thing ganking dual lane, because if your dual lane's like super far behind, it's a very difficult gank. But if they're sort of even, it's a very good gank, and if your dual lane is ahead, there isn't really much of a point in ganking. Obviously you can just let them do their thing sort of. I mean, because of the nature of sort of how hunters work with their basic attacks, they can push the lane very effectively, and we do actually end up losing our tier 1 before theirs. As you can see, I saw some Wukong's kind of low here. I also saw that Arthur was around like sort of 45% health, something like that. Again, my Julian just got another kill on the Ula. So I was debating whether to go in on the Arthur. You can gank Arthur early game, especially before he gets his Gladiator shield. However, he is still a very safe god. Now, if you were, for instance, in comms with your Solina, you could call down whether, you know, his movement abilities are on cooldown or not. I just chose to sort of play it safe and keep farming and sort of keep ahead of this. No, I will just move these around actually as well. Sort of doing this. Just it's kind of like, you know, how the SBL have it. Like that. You can sort of compare, like, so I'm obviously ahead in XP here. Is there a way to see net worth? This gold in hand. That's gold in hand. Not super helpful. Oh wait, net worth. Net worth. Yes, as you can see now, I'm sort of slightly ahead of the Najar in net worth, and it's the main difference is in XP though. As you can see, this Najar is 310, about 310 to 320 XP per minute. I have over 400, so there's 100 XP per minute difference there. And on Mercury, XP isn't like super important. Like the main thing you want with Mercury is to sort of get your items online, so gold is very important on him. As you can see, my first back was for Warrior Tabby. It's a very good item on Mercury. You can also get Talaria boots. I personally prefer Warrior Tabby. It's a huge power spike because he not only gets the 40 power from the boots, but also that 18% movement speed. Some of that is converted into power for Mercury due to his passive.
Final art, ninja rush.
I was looking to ult here. I didn't know whether they had a ward or not, so I was debating whether to, you know, go on the solo or not, whether they would be prepared for that. I was thinking they most likely have a ward here, so I'm just going to sort of scare them a bit with my ult instead of actually committing to it. As you here, just go for the red camps, securing it, just in case he invade, but our Apollo actually invaded as well. I think they still ended up securing it. Right now, you know, I'm just sort of farming up, pretty much. And now we'll get another kill. Hero was just sort of like dancing around the Xingqiang, like making sure that I would prevent him from going into the Julian and interfering with my Julian getting the kill on the Ula then. I could have tried going to Julian as well to try and get in on the kill. But honestly, I was just thinking, you know what, it's better for me to just take the Xingqiang out. And there, I almost catch that Scylla, just barely miss her. Which was, you know, kind of a mistake. Maybe if I'd have shot my ult earlier and dashed quicker, I'd have caught her out. And if I caught her out there, she was definitely dead. The Xingqiang gets sort of caught out here, but I think he does escape. Oh no, I blink on him and get the kill. Yeah, that was it, yeah. Naja missed his sash there, and then I just, you know, dash away around the corner. When you're against a Naja and the Naja is chasing you, corners are your best friend. If you're around a corner, he cannot ult you. If you're in his sort of line of sight though, he can kill you. Because he can just ult you. Catch up. And the Naja went to Talaria boots here, you know, which is a fine choice, and it's pretty decent on Naja. Also, I saw that the Naja was a masters in Joust. So I was thinking he's probably going to play a bit more of a hybrid style of Naja, which is the best way to sort of play him right now. Brit's fine for, like, you know, your casual games and things like that, but if you're trying to sort of get the most out of Naja, a hybrid Naja is sort of the best Naja. Also here, I think, oh no, it's after the Arthur gets boots. Here I saw that they were fighting, so that Arthur was around half health. He does have Gladiator shield though, so I wasn't super keen on like committing to this. Then I decided, you know what, I'll just commit to it, see what happens. I won't use like any mile or anything like that on it. Yeah, and he does get away obviously because it's Arthur. And maybe if I did sort of ult in there or something, you know, we could have killed him. Maybe if I were to go back, I would change that and maybe ult him there. I just wasn't sort of super confident in securing that kill. Maybe I should have been. Now you can see I've got rage now. I want to start, you know, I'm definitely wanting to get involved in fights, you know, kills or assists, it doesn't matter. I want to stack that rage. And, you know, as Mercury, I'm just looking for as much farm as possible right now. You know, I'm not the strongest guy in the game. Naja is better early game than Mercury. He's, you can see I'll catch a beautiful Mercury that goes through them. Get the Silla's beads. I think I missed the one. No, I hit the one. Get the Silla low enough. I threw the Mercury. Look him as well. The team will get a kill on him as well. Just barely don't get the one on him. The Apollo's there as well. This Jing Shang is pretty much fucked here. No, you got the sort of Apollo get the kill. And then I think here I called to go to Gold Fury, or called to retreat because we saw the Alpha was coming through because we had a ward placed here. We saw the Alpha passing through. The new I was calling to gank in mid. I was calling Gold Fury. And I saw the Ul was there, so I was like, okay, let's just gank the Arthur. He actually manages to get away here. So yeah, I blink in, I 3 him into the tower but away from the Nuar, so he takes the tower shots, but he's not close to the Nuar to kill her. Also, I just barely, I think if I hit the one there I kill him. Naja somehow missed his ult. Again, you know, I juked there to avoid the Scylla stuff. I avoided Till's 1 and 2. And then I had my dash up and I was waiting for the Scylla, and I knew the Scylla was going to ult. If the Scylla had have ulted sort of quickly whilst I was sort of juking there in that path, she would have killed me because I wouldn't have been able to dash away. But sort of 2 seconds-ish, or 1 second to 2 seconds before she actually hit, casted the ult, and like sort of slammed down on it, I got my dash back up so I was able to get away. And I think here I check the build and I see that Arthur got this item, breastplate, which can obviously build into Nemean, which I was kind of worried about in case he actually went that route. So this Apollo went Bloodforge as well, which actually is a good idea if you get this kind of a lead in ADC, especially in ranked. Like, I'm assuming that he was probably going to be going into Devourer's Gauntlet maybe, and then he decided, you know what, I've got a massive lead, I'll just go straight into Bloodforge, and he can afford to do that because he's sort of highest net worth in the game. Like, I'm second to him. Me and Noir are kind of sort of even. You can see obviously the enemy NDC is so far behind, like a 1,300 gold lead, major, in sort of a 1v1 environment. And you know, Mercury early game just farming up, taking the advantageous fights. That's what Mercury's early game is about. Farming as much as you can, you know, using your movement speed to get around the jungle, rotating places, maybe try catching people out. Mercury's very good at sort of punishing people who overextend or who stay too long at low health. Especially because you can't sort of, like, depending on where you ult from, you can catch people out better than any Thor or Thanatos, because there's no sound cue really. Like, you have a very, like, especially if your relics are down, you have a very short time frame to like sort of, well, do anything. It's pretty much impossible to avoid a Mercury ult unless you know it's coming in. Again, I hear a double ult there, hit them both inside. That was very good. I called the Naja ulted me here. I missed my dash on him, which was kind of bad, but then he uses 3 on me. Also, something, a tip with Mercury is, if you can, try and use your 3 on, when you use your 3 on somebody, try and sort of hold W whilst you're in your 3. You obviously won't move around, but then look as to where you think they would go if they were to beat it. Unless you know the beats are down, you don't have to worry about that. And then sort of turn it like the last sort of second. You do have to do it just a bit before you throw them. Because the game can be a bit weird with how it throws people. You know, if you turn sort of right at the last second, sometimes whilst you're turning, it can throw them off to the side, even though you're still facing a completely different way. Nearing my pathing, I went from XP to blue. But then to this chalice, I wanted to sort of build up as much as possible before I took it out for efficiency. I'm going to back here. I think I just wait in base to have enough for Deathbringer because I backed with, I believe it was 2,260-ish gold. That's only like just over a 10-second wait, yeah, and I get it. So honestly here, I thought that Arthur was going to go like Namin and completely fuck me. But instead he goes into Breastplate of Valor, which is still fine. You know, obviously the Apollo died there, that was kind of unfortunate. They went behind a rock. This will actually kind of does a lot of damage to me here. Wasn't expecting it. He also hit every arrow on me. I wasn't really juking that well there. And then I hear the Naja blink. I blink away, obviously. And then I just sort of, whilst I'm walking away, I just hold out run and call that I believe it was all the beads and Naja blink there. The Apollo was actually spectating me and he called it later than I did. But once I've got Deathbringer here, you know, I'm very confident in fighting. I can play a lot more of it, a bit more aggressive. I still don't have sort of like the power to back up the crits. I just have crit, which will allow me to fight and be fairly fight. So we catch that Jing at the last second there. I wanted to sort of wait for him to sort of get as close to his back as possible because the enemy was still walking away. Just sort of maximise that timing. Obviously he's tanky right now, so he didn't get the kill. Also, it's a bad idea for him to go meditation here as well. Our team can't build into too much anti-healing, apart from obviously I getting Divine Ruin. If I was more of an ability-based jungler, I could build into anti-healing as well. But the new has Divine Ruin, like that's enough for meditation. Especially to do with sort of Arthur's Gladiator Shield, and Naja's too. So here I'm looking for an ult on the Ula. This is a very good place to gank from. Especially sort of like at any point in the game. Charge you up from behind this wall. They can't see you. You go straight into them. Bam. My 2, throw him into the minions. My 1, he did Aegis because I didn't throw my 1 actually quick enough. And I just wait here, the Gev actually comes in and gets the kill. And then we actually managed to push this lane. We had a very good push here. So obviously he takes out that minion, still a dash straight in front of an Apollo and Geb, which is a very bad idea. A lot going on in this fight. Obviously blink. I just hit the seal a couple of times and Nuar finishes them off. Naja backs out. So there I think I 3'd the Naja. But then Xingqiang ulted me out of my 3, so I just beads it. There I played a bit more aggressive because I knew my beads were up, so if the Xingqiang was going to ult me, I could just bead out of it. The Xing's obviously trying to body block me and get me to hit him. It's like the tower would go on him and obviously to block it as well. But I just kept, going around the tower. Bit of a game of cat and mouse there with him. Luckily we were able to get both towers out of that, and it's a very, very good push for us. And here I think I got tier 2 Arendite. Because me and my team are sort of so far ahead at this point, we're 7k ahead at 17 minutes is a fairly significant lead. It's actually a very significant lead. I can afford to go into sort of the more expensive items. So obviously things like Arendite, Bloodforge. I might have gone into them anyway, but it just makes it sort of that much sort of better that we are ahead. So I don't have to worry about it really putting me behind for too long. Wait, putting me behind at all, really. So you see that Arthur is a bit overextended here, as he has no tower. I should have probably waited maybe for the Geb to hit him, but obviously it takes a lot of damage here. Using my 1 for when he lands, timing it right. And then obviously you call Pyromancer here. Once you have Rage and Deathbringer on Mercury, you can actually solo Pyromancer if you want.
I've surpassed my limit.
So we saw the Scylla on that ward there. I was just ulting, charging it just in case. The Xingqiang overextends here. I was a tiny bit scared of the Scylla coming in, but then I saw she was in mid when about this point. Also backed off there because I knew Xingqiang was going to ult. No, he still had that up. He also ended up sprinting as well. And then here's a perfect fire giant call. Yeah, 3 of them were pretty much dead, or just came back to life. I saw Najal was obviously in dual lane, Scylla was in mid, so she was kind of a threat. But I was confident that we could burst it down in time. Maybe the Scylla could have ended up stealing it. Yeah, I feel like we had pretty good ward coverage here, you know. If I was going to come through mid lane, she was going to go over that ward, most likely. Especially because she was around here, so she would have to have come like, sort of through here and we would have seen her. And if she did that, I would have sort of just gone straight on her. Also now we have Arendite, you see only if you're here. You know, we have Fire Giant and Mercury, and we also have an Apollo with crit, and executioning and objectives are super easy for us. It does a very good job here. Shields me so I can tank it without taking too much damage, and then he goes, instead of tanking it, to defend, you know, using his CC to stop any potential steal. It's a very good play by him, actually. And what you sort of should be doing to look as support, especially as a Geb, you can just shield somebody, and you sort of let them tank it pretty much, and then you can use your CC to defend. Here, major misplay, right? Major mechanical misplay there. Which was, so I was going to ult the Scylla, obviously, as you saw. Started charging it, and I actually hit it just short. If I did hit her there, I knew her beads were down from that fight, so I knew that, okay, if I ult to here, she will die. And I would have been able to get out if I'd have killed her. So just switch to this Geb here. He thinks obviously that was I'm not sure. Did the Apollo beat that? Yes, the Apollo beats that. Yeah, it's a very good beat by that Apollo. I was unsure whether that was a Geb shield or the Apollo bead. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Apollo bead. I actually got that Apollo out of that Nashar ult, which was it was very good beads by him. Can be quite difficult, you know, depending on how much is going on, be able to beat a Najjar ult directly. A lot easier when Najjar 3 easier to beat it. Especially if you're sort of looking for it, just your reaction time really. I like to be. So here, obviously me and Apollo don't have Fire Giant, which is kind of rough, because we'll be doing the most damage to towers. Obviously, luckily, I don't take that Scylla 2 there, she only hits the Geb with it. Geb had a shield on himself, which is fine. I think he actually apologised and I was like, oh no, it's fine, like, it wasn't hitting me anyway. Yeah, and I think there I typed the Xingqiang back, so this was a very good push. Obviously, you know, it's only a short distance, but that short distance was all we needed to take it. He didn't get to the tower in time. Sorry about the shard.
Final art, ninja rush.
I feel like our support was definitely a lot better than that.
I've surpassed my limit. Final art, ninja rush.
And so was our ADC, I think. Well, I think the ADC mainly just won sort of like the 1v1s and stuff. I think they were both like they were both decent players. And the solo lineers were fairly even as well. If not ours, had a bit of an like advantage. Not a bit of an advantage, but here I see him trying to like sort of zone them out. That is a choke point that they're walking through, you know. They walk into a lot of damage. I was unsure here whether the Arthur was just like waiting for me to sort of like I was scared of my ult or not, or would be just baiting, but then I see him obviously stand still behind the wall, so I was like, okay, definitely baiting. But I was still just sort of charging my ult just in case, you know, he was actually scared of it. Because if he was scared of it, then obviously, you know, it was keeping him from coming in. you know, this is sort of a beautiful sight as a Mercury. No higher than me and Lions yet on their team. So I was actually incorrect about what this Naja I was going to build. See, I thought because they were sort of a Master's Joust player, they might be like, okay, you know, I'll build a hybrid Naja. I don't know whether they don't play much like sort of Naja and Conquest or not, but you pretty much as Naja now you don't really want to go crit because I think that like sort of hybrid build with him is still sort of best. It's like Blackthorn Hammer, things like that. He's just sort of better as kind of like a tank. The next patch, however, is probably going to butcher Naja because his ult's going to do no damage. If you know, just sneak a pyre there, we know. Like obviously we have Fire Giant up. You know, we're just waiting to take it. Sun Wukong wasn't really grouping up that much. He was staying in solo lane a bit too much, which is not the best. Get some of these tanks here again. Very good idea, you know. Get me to tank it, put a shield on me. He can save all of his sort of CC and stuff like that. As you can see, he went out early from the pit to just check if anybody's going to come in. Again, this Geb knew how to play objectives correctly. That is a correct way to play objectives as a Geb. So here we went for a 4 in the middle and then 1 in left lane push. I think does the new one on Sun Wukong will switch over. So Sun Wukong comes back, he goes to push down that left lane, and then obviously there's 4 of us in mid. I call that there's 2 people, let's say enemies in left lane, attack middle lane. Geb goes in straight away, raise my 1 on him. I obviously I get sashed by the Naja and I wanted to beat it. I was pretty confident I could juke his ult, and he hasn't really been hitting his ults that much. So here Blink hit a very good basic attack on that the Scylla there. That was sort of a Blink and 180 basic attack. Bit of mechanical flair. And so Arthur was sort of like huge focus on clearing the minions, which might have been their best bet here. It's hard to tell. It's pretty rough defense for them now. And obviously see that this follower is kind of like brawling this Naja, throw him towards the wall. Just so he's, you know, away from the Apollo, and walls are a very good place to throw people into as a Mercury, because it sort of keeps them in one place and allows you to get a few basics on them before they land. So I missed my 3 on him, which is very bad. I was like, you know what, I can just kill him. I was pretty confident that he probably burnt his relics in that fight. And I'm just chasing the Xing Shang. I'm not focused on killing him, you know. I do try and kill him here. I think he manages to get a few jumps away. Yeah, Apollo finishes him off here. I was more focused on turning him in a way than like actually killing him. Still does kill me at the end there as well. But I just keep calling attack the Titan. Very easy end. And I will, if I can, I can't remember off the spectating game, so if you can see the builds. I will just jump into a build analysis. I can just go into my history if I can't see it. This screen build. I've recorded my Pele guide actually for this, so I'm just thinking about whether to upload this first or that first. I guess you'll know once this has been uploaded. Yeah, so here are the builds. I obviously didn't get to a point where I needed to upgrade my relics or anything. So in terms of builds, amazing Geb build. Literally zero complaints. He has everything he needs here. He has Shell as sort of his supporting relic. Which, you know, against a Naja with crit, and, you know, an Ula with crit apparently. It's a very good item. Blink as well, he knows a Geb. He's very good initiate with his Blink and ult. He started that last Phoenix. Gauntlet of Thebes, get it on every single support. It's got everything you need in it, you know. Ton of health, a ton of protections here. It's got Mantle of Discord protections, with 300 health as well. An amazing tank item to have. And obviously his Geb, one thing he wants to be doing is shielding a lot. So getting cooldown Geb, very good idea. Breastplate of Al here, perfect item for him to pick up. Then Genji's card here, you know, he's just gone into a lot of physical protections. Balance it out with some magical protections and health as well. Again, 10% cooldown reduction. This completes his 40% cooldown reduction. So shield spam sort of is able to happen. I don't know what this was going to be. I'm guessing it might have been something like Pestilence and maybe a Heartward Amulet. Either of those two would have been fantastic choices here. Pestilence, Najatu, Ulasi. Scylla did have some lifesteal here. Not super important. King Shang's Meditation though. Arthur's Gladiator Shield. Pestilence would have been fine. Probably the better choice there. But Heartward wouldn't have been bad, let's say. Obviously my build, I had Assassin's Blessing here. Actually at one point I forgot to mention that I sold Assassin's Blessing when I was in base to finish off the Bloodforge. Remember, you don't have to wait till you start to write him, especially if it's Assassin's Blessing. Assassin's Blessing stats aren't that great. 50 health, 5 penetration and 5% movement speed are the only real stats you sort of get out of it. So obviously Rage, get that early, get that 45% crit chance very early on, it's very good. Warrior Tabby, amazing on Mercury. Deathbringer, make your crits do damage. Arendite, perfect synergy with his ult. If you read it, it's very self-explanatory. Gives you movement speed, which gives Mercury bonus power, and then your next basic, sort of next attack after Mercury's ult, which you're most likely going to be doing with either your one or a basic attack, is going to have bonus damage on it. Perfect synergy with Mercury's ult. Then Bloodforge, 75 power, 15% lifesteal. Mercury is Mercury late game. You sort of, your goal is to like sort of instantly sort of kill someone. You know, use your crits to deal like huge damage in a very short time. And then once you get that kill, obviously you need to be able to get out. A shield is very nice for that. Apollo's build, Hunter's Blessing, you know, very good item. He also went T1 Devourer's Gauntlet here. Bloodforge as it turned out to be. He got very far ahead, so Bloodforge was a very good idea here. He also got Ninja Tabby as well. Ninja Tabby perfectly fine. Crit as well, which is interesting. With Rage having 45% crit chance, you know, maybe crit is like sort of coming into the meta. And especially when you're ahead, sorry, crit is very powerful when you're ahead. Just because you start to have a lot of power to sort of back it up. Executioner here, perfect place for Executioner. Paula didn't get Executioner. Maybe he doesn't play, you know, much Conquest or much sort of ADC in Conquest. But Executioner, you always want to get it in these two slots here. Either after boots or after the item after boots. So realistically you want to be getting it third or fourth in this case. Why do you want to do that again? Its passive affects objectives, so things like Gold Fury and Fire Giant, Pyromancer. It allows your team to do those a lot quicker than without it. Deathbringer here, again, make his crits actually do sort of like significant damage. Some Kong teleport fine, Shell was fine. No real complaints here. Maybe a sprint would have been okay here as well. Naja's ring slows, Stilla's 2. King Arthur's 2 as well. Yeah, those could counted by a sprint, but Shell is still perfectly fine. If in doubt, I say, if in doubt in solo war support, if in doubt, get Shell. You can never really go wrong with it. Obviously got Warrior's Blessing here, and Blackthorn Hammer, and obviously Gladiator Shield as well. Bit of an interesting solo lane build. Ninja Tabby. I don't know what this Ninja Tabby is really about. Void Shield's fine. You want to get Void Shield now, later on. you don't really want to be getting it sort of after boots anymore. It's not really an early game item, it's definitely a late game item with reducing physical protections percentage. Mantle discard was good. Shogun's Kasari, perfect item here. With a Mercury and a Poly, if you have 2 auto attack base cards in your team, Shoguns can never go wrong. And if you have 3 especially, which most of the time doesn't happen, but in those rare instances, you know, Shogun's Kasari, absolute must. The Wars build, the mid lane builds have changed sort of slightly. I've seen Pretty Prime usually going to sort of tier 2 of like the Chronos Pendant Rod to a an of tree here, and then going to choose a focus. But I have also seen him on a few gods build Book of Thoth here, so Book of Thoth is fine. Choose a focus, yes, these are the better boots right now. Into a Divine Ruin, yep, that's exactly what he would do as well. And Divine Ruin or Spear of Desolation here, not both, okay. And as you can see, you know, they still want Spear of Desolation here. Yes, I would suggest you should at least have one of these items in your build. If the enemy have healing you are worried about, Arthur's Gladiator Shield, Meditation, still getting Glenomicon and Assy. Naja's 2 as well, again. Anti-healing, very good here. If the enemy have healing, like, so I was just thinking about, like, I'm always going to go Spirit Desolation after boots. However, do the enemy have healing? And if they do, use Spirit Desolation for Divine Ruin. They both have the exact same penetration on them. Divine Ruin is slightly less power and no cooldown reduction, but obviously you get the anti-healing. Then Soul Reaver straight away. Soul Reaver is an amazing item right now. It is an absolute tank killer. It's pretty much sort of replaced Obsidian Shard in mage builds pretty much. Get 10% magical penetration and also the passive of it, which you can read. Very good against tanks. Soul Gem, yes, Soul Gem is fine here. Builds up my cooldown reduction. And then I'm guessing this is probably going to be a Chronos Pendant here, which would have capped their out 40% cooldown reduction. Cooldown, very good on Noir. Or just our team's build, onto their team's build. The Najar build, not a fan. Only one crit item. And you've also got a Blackthorn Hammer with the crit item. It's very strange, I really don't like it. Jotun's Wrath here is fine, Jotun's Wrath and Crusher are fine. I would like to see, you know, seeing a Blackthorn Hammer here instead. And then maybe later on, you know, you can get things like Void Shield and CLA, those types of items. Mantle Discard, maybe Magi's, those items. Najar's very good for setup and dealing sort of mob bruisery kind of jungle playstyle. Ula, also Najar with Scylla as well, that is a very good combo. But they never used it in that game. I can't think of one instance where I saw a Najar and Scylla being used together. If you're going to pick these types of combos, use them, please. Ula, beat Aegis, good relics. Also these relics, I don't like Aegis in jungle, unless you're going beat and Aegis. You only get beats and Aegis on gods like Thor, Fenrir, gods that don't really need blink, although you can go blink on Fenrir as well. But on Thor you definitely want beat and Aegis. On Najar, however, beat and blink. Yeah, I can get beat and blink here. Like, I should have probably punished him for not getting beat harder, actually. But he wasn't that much of a threat, so I don't think I needed to. Ula's build, Transcendence, very good on Ula, very good on most hunters. Ninja Tabby, not a major fan of it on Ula. Then Assy, yes, it is okay on Ula. Not a bad item, especially seeing as he's got a lot of power here with Transcendence. But I would have liked to see a Warrior Tab here, then an Assy, and then Crit. I'm not really a fan of it on Ula. Would have loved to have seen an Executioner here. Help them with doing objectives, maybe sneak some gold fuse or something if they can catch us, you know, on the other side of the map, things like that. Because I've seen Titans being here. It's very weird because he's going for an auto attack sort of based build. But then he goes into sort of more of an ability-based sort of item or an item that you would want to get like for selling boots or like 6th after Executioner though. So I'm not a fan of this Ulla's build. Scylla's build, it's okay. I would like to see the order change though. I know Pretty Prime still goes Book of Thoth and Scylla, and Shoes of Focus. These are very good items here. I would like to see a Spirit Desolation here instead. Then a Soul Reaver there, and then a Polynomicon. I think that build would have been stronger here. But really it's the build order there that's the problem. Not so much the items. The items are completely fine. Jingshang, relics. Also the relics here are fine. Your beads and Aegis on the ADC and mid, that's perfectly standard. Meditation. Please don't get this on support. You aren't level 15 in the game anymore, okay? This is a ranked conquest. Why you would be getting meditation on support, I have no idea. Especially when your team already has healing, you're just begging to get anti-healing against you. Divine Ruin. So Guardian's Blessing, again, you know, fine. The Geb did. Probably Shoes, yes, very good on support, especially if he's rotating a lot, which he did. Then Gauntlet of Thebes, again, perfect. These 2 items here, love seeing this, okay? Every support should be getting Gauntlet of Thebes. There's no reason why you shouldn't be. I don't care who you're playing in support, you get Gauntlet of Thebes. Breastplate of Valor, it's okay here. Gives him some cooldown reduction. He felt like he needed it. I don't play much Xingqiang, but I don't know sort of if he needs it as much as say someone like a Geb. But you know, not really too much to complain about there. If he didn't need the cooldown reduction, then a Nemean, but Breastplate of Valor there's fine. Shogun's there. That's okay. It's not super necessary though. The Eula was very far behind, as you can see. The Naja, whilst he has crit, Naja doesn't really do like much with attack speed. His crits are sort of better to sort of play into his abilities, and you know, maybe getting 1 basic attack after an ability, not you know, sort of sustaining sort of attack speed maybe. Getting like multiple hits in on the same person. Then this, I have no clue what this was going to be. Whatever it was going to be though, probably going to be bad. So the Xingqiang's build started out great, but then sort of slowly dropped off. The relics he chose, this meditation, no, maybe it was a misclick, who knows. He should have gotten the sprint instead here, and then gone for a blink, or even a shell and blink. That would have been much better. Arthur's build, I liked actually. For the most part, maybe I would have gone some different items. Actually no, I actually do kind of like it. So obviously he got teleport, fine on Arthur. Warrior's Blessing, yeah, Gladiator's Shield, Warrior Tabby, standard soul in build. Not this, at least. Then after that he went into Breastplate of Valor. That's fine as well. He's got a lot of physical protections at that point. But he was only really threatened by physical gods. Really just obviously Summerkong and me mainly. Then obviously sort of the new Jing, sorry, the Geb came to lane, you know, picked up the runic shield. Also I would have liked to see more rotations out of both solo laners. Then Spirit Robe here. Yes, Spirit Robe is fine. I would have probably gone Hide of the Nemean Lion here. Or more magical protections like a Genji's Guard or something, get that 40% cooldown reduction as well. But he did still build 40% cooldown reduction, which I like. But I would have probably made this a Genji's Guard and then last got like a Nemean. The relic here, Thorns, yes. Into 2 crit, like 2 people building crit, that is perfect. This is why I would probably say Nemean or Genji's Guard, then Nemean here. I don't think the Spirit Robe did too much for him. I'll just quickly look at the damage numbers. Play damage, and it can be a bit of a dodgy start to look at. The jungler shouldn't really be getting the most play damage. people with the most play damage should realistically be the solo laners, or mid laners. Those two people should, because obviously solo laners get that in lane, mid laners will get that in sort of the three that happen in mid and in the team fights. Structure damage should pretty much always be going to the ADC. Nero actually did a lot too. Obviously, clay soldiers do quite a bit. Arthur obviously got the most team. Scylla never really got to come online. The Xingshang did barely any damage. That's fine. He is a support. Najar did that's way too low as a jungler, especially building to crit as well, building full damage. Wards, please. Usually I have the most wards on my team. It's beautiful seeing that I don't. 17 wards here by the support. That was a lot of wards. At least he knew to ward a lot. The ADC should have didn't really have a need to ward actually. So that's sort of fine. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something again. If the Pele guide hasn't been uploaded, it will be uploaded very soon. Or if it has uploaded and been uploaded, I hope you enjoyed that too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.